Welcome everybody to our next episode of True Business Stories podcast. We're really getting through these podcasts, Mark, and it's been an eye-opener for some of us on who we've met and the best kept secrets we keep coming across around the Victorian country region.
And some really nice people too.
Exactly right. And for us it's been a bit of an education. But as I repeat, there are so many stories that people have got to tell. And I think we might have mentioned in our very first podcast that our aim is to talk to people that you wouldn't normally hear about. And they're what we call they're not the usual suspects.
Yeah, the hidden secrets.
So we're out here in Runway in North Geelong today. And who are we talking to, Mark?
So we're catching up with a guy that I've known for a few years now, Aamir Qutub, who runs Enterprise Monkey. Welcome, Aamir.
Thank you so much. Well, thanks a lot for having me here.
Our pleasure, Aamir. We're the one who needs to thank you as we're dragging you into this. So, Aamir, to kick start, we usually ask the question, where was primary school, your first school? Where did you start?
Absolutely. So I actually come from India, and I come from a small town in India. So my schooling mainly happened in Aligarh, which is, again, a regional city in India, a couple of hours away from New Delhi. So I had all of the schooling, my college and my university from there.
Okay. Now, Aamir, I've done some research. STS High School, is that right?
Yes, that's right, STS High School.
And it was interesting looking on the internet. It looks like an old British type building.
Oh, absolutely.
And brick building, and I looked at that and thought, and was it a boarding school too, by the looks of it?
Yes, it was. So STS High School is a part of Aligarh Muslim University, which is the oldest central university of India. Wow. Very cheap to study in because it's managed by government. And all of the buildings, the university was actually established in 1900s, so it was quite old and was based on the architecture of Harvard and Oxford at that point of time.
Oh, wow. That's cool. And what did you do at uni then? What was your...
So my father wanted me to be a doctor, like every Indian father wants everyone to be a doctor. And I was preparing for that, but I got an admission in engineering. So I did my bachelor's in technology in mechanical engineering.
So that was your passion?
That was not my passion at all. I didn't know what passion was at that point of time. I just wanted to please my father. I just wanted to do whatever I could. And so in India, it's very competitive to get into college and university. So I qualified for the examination. Mechanical was the branch that I got, so I just took it.
Okay. So what was your first job then?
And my first job was, after I'd completed my bachelor's in technology, was at Honda Cars as a production engineer. So I worked as an automobile engineer for 1 year before I did my MBA from Deakin University. So I moved to Australia after that to do my MBA. Okay. And then I moved to Geelong. I thought it's a growing space, emerging manufacturing economy. So there's Ford, there's Alcoa, there's Shell, and I will probably get a job over here. But as soon as I landed in Geelong, I started reading all of this news about everything shutting down.
It's interesting, isn't it? So NBA at Deakin, you enjoyed that? That was good?
Oh, it was, yeah, absolutely. And it was pretty good because it involved a lot of industry experience as well. So this was the time when I found an internship with ICT Geelong and City of Greater Geelong. Did a bit of strategy on establishing a digital hub in Geelong as well. So I really enjoyed that part.
Well, Aamir, sorry, that's where I first met you. You were working in Craig Hill's office.
That's right.
If you remember?
Yes.
Because I was doing some contract work for him.
Absolutely,
yeah,
yes.
So that was probably your first start, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. So before that, I tried applying for a lot of jobs in manufacturing sector with my previous experience, didn't get any. So I started working as a cleaner at Avalon Airport. And then I started throwing newspapers like probably many others in the night. But then I found Craig Hill, got an internship with him. And that internship sort of led to me becoming the operation manager at ICT Geelong in like 6 months. And then I think in in a couple of years, Craig had to step out because he was moving into a new role with Australian Sports Technologies Network. So my then chair, Nick Stanley, actually gave me a call and he said, would you like to be the interim general manager of ICT Geelong? And I was 25 at that point of time. I was like, wow. But yeah, I grabbed that opportunity.
It's interesting, Aamir, that, you ended up cleaning at Avalon Airport. The number of folk that I've met from India who are doing PhDs and MBAs and end up working as cleaners, and they're the smartest people in the world, yet that's the only jobs they can get because they're trying to survive in Australia. It's very hard.
Absolutely, and I see a lot of people who have worked with like multinational companies have got huge amount of experience, and then they are working at servos or they are working on odd jobs, which is fine as an experience. But I feel, oh my God, how much are we missing in terms of using those skills to actually make something substantial in Australia?
Yeah, I agree. And are there some rules around what they can and can't work? Is that what stops some of it? I'm not that clear on it, but I know some of the jobs they can't get a more permanent job because that is limited because of their study.
Yes, so while studying, you're allowed to work 40 hours a fortnight. So that is one challenge. And secondly, it's not a permanent visa. And that's why organizations find it difficult. Like, there's no restriction on the type of work that they can do. It's just that organizations find it difficult to deal with all of the paperwork and red tape.
So while all that was going on, Aamir, I do remember, Mark, you'll remember, we both got invitations to your wedding.
That's right.
Which
yes.
was up, as you say, was it up north where you went to...
Yes.
Came from?
Yes, so it was actually in India.
Yeah, but
yes.
I've also heard a rumour that it was quite a large gathering. You want to tell us about that?
Well, from Indian standards, it was small, 2,000 people only, just friends and families.
I always regret that we couldn't go at the time, Mark. We discussed it, remember?
I was so angry with myself that I couldn't go because I knew it would be spectacular. But.
Yeah, and imagine me standing there and shaking hand with 2,000 people.
All right, so that's probably a memory to have forever. But so from that role that you took over in Geelong, what was the catalyst to get you to start your own business? How did all that happen?
Absolutely. So as I was sort of observing Geelong and the manufacturing sector was declining, I thought there was going to be more chaos and people would complain and the region is going to go down. But what I found that there was a resilience to sort of transform the region into a knowledge-based economy. And I found that as an opportunity to transform my career as well from sort of like being in a mechanical sector to sort of move to a knowledge-based economy. And I was sort of constantly upskilling myself. So I thought, the next sort of big thing is tech and software, and I was passionate about that. I really enjoyed that, so I started to establish a business in that space because there was none at that point of time. But funny thing was that I didn't have any experience of running a business, and I didn't have much experience in IT space at all.
So that's a big step.
It was, yeah. It was a big step. It was a scary step. But I think I was just surrounded by the right people over here. Like, it was a great... So I also established a meetup called Geelong Entrepreneurs Network. So where I used to sort of met like 40, 50, again, entrepreneurs like me who were doing stuff. And just being around those people and sort of having that community provided me the much needed impetus to sort of like push forward and take that jump.
Well, there's been certainly some successes along the way for you personally, and I know that you were awarded the Young Business Leader of the Year in Geelong, or I think that was in the Geelong Business Excellence Awards, was it?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and I also saw something during the week that you're up for a couple of other awards at the moment.
Yes.
So you're becoming an award guru, are you? What's happening?
Well, I've been sort of really lucky with that because I feel that a lot of people are able to resonate with my story and in terms of where I came from and how I established the business. And then getting these awards is a good validation. Sort of when I first got the GBA award at that point of time, I was still sort of in that phase, I felt that I was still in that struggle phase. I was still trying to grow my business, sort of still trying to take it to next level. But sort of having those awards on the side sort of gives you that confidence that probably have actually done something in life, allows you to look back and see how forward have you come from where I was in the beginning as well.
That's very cool. And so what led to Enterprise Monkey? How did that evolve? Where did that...
Absolutely. So when I moved to Australia, I talked to a lot of SMEs at that point of time. I identified that there was a huge lack of someone to support them through the disruption that was happening. So there was this tech world. There were people who were techie early adopters who were just jumping on board with everything, and then there were businesses who didn't know what to do. Like the whole space was evolving really fast. So we established Enterprise Monkey with the aim that we are going to help businesses with automation and optimization and develop applications that would allow them to grow with time as well. So, and that was the whole concept with Enterprise Monkey. So we started with a web and app development company in the beginning, but then we sort of transformed into doing major sort of softwares, web applications. Now, from the last couple of years, we have moved into artificial intelligence space and blockchain as well. So our philosophy is that we are not stuck to a particular technology. It's about sort of understanding and reading what's happening and evolving with time and helping other organizations evolve with time as well.
So where did the name come from?
So the name comes from a phenomenon, an ideology that I sort of created called dumb monkey syndrome. So it sort of goes like this, that we feel that humans evolved from monkeys and apes or whatever, but the human race didn't stop evolving at that point of time. We invented wheel, and then we invented aeroplane, and then invented phone, and so on. But even now, if we feel that we are good, we feel complacent, and the challenge is that organizations like Kodak and Nokia, they died because they couldn't embrace the innovation. So if someone is not able to sort of become smarter and not embrace their innovation, we sort of just ask them the question, are you suffering from dumb monkey syndrome? So I started going to organizations and started asking this, are you suffering from dumb monkey syndrome? It's like, what? And then we sort of gave them these examples that allowed them to sort of think beyond what they were doing. And so Enterprise Monkey is the one that cures dumb monkey syndrome.
That's good. That's a good backstory. That's very
Mark,
good.
Before we started this today, we were talking about ChatGPT. So I guess that's the latest iteration of innovation. Is that fair comment?
Yes, absolutely. I think it is a game changer. And again, sort of people are looking in context of the kids who are doing amazing things on ChatGPT. But there is a huge opportunity for businesses to integrate it with their systems and use it to increase their productivity, but also increase their profitability as well.
Well, yesterday we did a podcast with a young couple, a very enterprising young couple who have established themselves in the film industry. And they were telling, from a production and they're trying to build a film industry here in Geelong, which I have no doubt they'll achieve, but you'll hear that on our podcast when it comes up. But they were telling us yesterday how often they use ChatGPT, and how it helps them, and this is all the script writing and everything else they're doing, and they love it. They think it's fantastic.
Absolutely. It is a fantastic tool for all of the creators, but then it sort of goes to the next level. So we are actually working with a charity to integrate their Salesforce, their CRM with ChatGPT so that it can produce NDIS funding reports. So NDIS reports, it took them around a day to prepare those reports for their clients, but now they are able to use the data in the CRM, and then ChatGPT is able to look at it and then produce the reports.
Wow, because ChatGPT it's all about what you ask it, really, as clearly as possible to get the best possible result.
Absolutely. But the beauty of that is that what we did was we feeded it like previous 1,000 applications, and when we told it that these 100 applications were successful, these 900 were not successful, and then ChatGPT looked through it and learned the way those 100 applications were written and started replicating the successful ones.
It's incredible, isn't it? It's incredible.
Really interesting. And here's me this morning, Scotty, about using it because I changed 2 paragraphs on our website.
So Enterprise Monkey, who are you working with, if you can chat about it, or what sort of projects are you doing? You've just touched on one.
Sure, absolutely. So we are working with a lot of charities like Vision Australia, and then we are doing work with Deakin University, Gordon TAFE as well. We have done some work with RMIT previously as well. So we are pretty strong in that space. And then we are quite passionate about working with startups who are working with government sector as well. So we are working with Better Health company that is working with New South Wales government to improve the health space. We did a project, ATO Mate, which was working with Australian Taxation Office, automating the emails that they send to, or the correspondence that they send to the accounting practices and how they deal with it as well. We try to sort of look at a major problem in the business and how we can actually automate and optimize that using applications, softwares, or artificial intelligence.
So you write your own software?
We do. We have developed a lot of base software as well.
Yep.
We are about to launch another service or another integration platform called Integrate AI, which would actually help businesses integrate their existing systems with likes of ChatGPT and sort of leverage of that.
Now, Aamir, I'm sure you've tapped into your past history back in India. Tell me, how much do you outsource back to those, I guess, many brilliant young minds that, for instance, at the university where you used to do your studies?
Sure, absolutely. So in terms of outsourcing, we've got a 50-50 mix of team in Australia and sort of a global team. We've got an office in Dubai and in India and in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. And the way our philosophy works is that any of the base work is actually done offshore, and then any of the client-related work, any of the IP that is produced for the clients is actually produced over here in Australia. But it's just the combination that works really well, because sometimes it's very difficult to find the right resources in Australia. And I've been working with universities and different organizations, but there's still a huge gap of skills over here. That's why we sort of have to sort of look for global options.
So how often are you travelling around to Kuala Lumpur and Dubai and India?
Well, now the thing, there's no COVID, so it's sort of traveling every 3 months now. Yeah, so every 3 months to one of the countries.
Wow, that's and how many people employed across the group?
So we have got total 80 in our team.
Yep.
So we have got around 40 in India, and then we've got sort of like Kuala Lumpur and Dubai is like 5 and 8, and then rest in Australia.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
All based out here at North Geelong. It's amazing.
Well, over here as well, we've got people who are working remotely as well. So we have got someone in Shepparton, someone in Ballarat as well, and they would just sort of come for parties. Like, people don't show up to office now.
No.
So I've got a few people in Melbourne as well. They, like, when we meet, we sort of meet in our North Geelong office, but it's like once in a month.
So, Aamir, are you able to turn off mentally? And how do you, if you do, how do you do it?
But amazingly, I have been able to turn out mentally. I think from past 3 or 4 years, this is something that I was able to work on. So in the third year of my business, everything was going wrong. I was working on revenue, and I was working on getting more customers, but my profitability was really bad. Cash flow was bad. I started taking debt, and then I slowly realized that I was in like $100,000 debt, and my suppliers were not happy, my customers were not happy. So I was sort of almost felt like giving up, but then after that, I almost locked myself in the room for a month and sort of rethink my business model. Fired 80% of my clients, said, sorry, we can't work with you because we have changed our business model. And at that point of time, I sort of did rewire my thinking as well. So now I'm able to, I work when I have to, and then I am able to sort of just park everything and then switch off and sleep easily.
What's the time difference with India?
So the time difference with India is 5.5 hours.
So that's not too bad. That probably works for you a little bit, does it?
It does, but it's funny. Like, I've got someone who would always be working. So we've got like a common platform where everyone sort of chats, and I would see someone online at any point of time in the day. And my instructions is, like, just feel free to give me a call, and like if I'm not available, I won't pick up. But we say that sun never sets at Enterprise Monkey.
No, that's very. And Bill always asks this question, but I'll ask it. So, if we did a survey of your employees, what would they describe your leadership style like?
Well,
and remember, they might be listening to this.
Oh yes. It's easy because I actually had my birthday this month, 18th of March. So we had a celebration, and so everyone spoke, and they sort of organized a bit of surprise Zoom catch up for me. And one thing that sort of they said that sort of really touched me, that I was really accessible to them, and I was there for them, and that was the biggest thing. So they didn't feel that there was any sort of middleman or any distance between me and them, and sort of like I understood them, and that was something that they said that they really liked about me.
That's very cool.
You are living proof, of course, that you can run a business remotely.
Yes.
And with this current, I guess, discussion going on about working from home, and a lot of traditional Australian owners in business, and I come across a few quite often, they still live by the mantra, well, if you're not in the office and we can't see you, you're not working. And I think that it's going to take some of those people a long time to realise that's not what you do in 2023.
Absolutely. And we work, and now we are able to recruit a lot of mothers who are not able to work because they had obligations at home, or people, like even sort of, we are working with some people who are disabled who can't actually physically get out of their home without any proper help. And just by being able to be flexible with the location, we are able to provide this amazing opportunity to people. And what I've felt is that if you have the right system and process and procedures in place, then you can get a better productivity while people are working from home as well.
That's fantastic. So, Aamir, I'm not going to ask you, but I assume you have a very clear strategic plan and all the rest of it. Where are you going to be in 5 years? So if we catch up with you in 5 years, what's your vision? Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
So we are aiming to go for an initial public offering. So we are looking to take the company public, and that's where we are working towards. We do not have a clear timeline in terms of when's that going to be, but that's going to be the game. So right now we are recruiting for 30 more people at the moment. So we are trying to grow our team because we've got a lot of work that we are getting at this point of time, especially with artificial intelligence, and also the accessible websites that we are building. There's a lot of demand, and we're just trying to keep up with that demand at the moment. So next year we plan to recruit another 50 people as well. So it's about growing the teams, developing the right capabilities, and then sort of going for an initial public offering.
Wow. So in 5 years, you could be on the stock exchange.
Well, hopefully, yes.
And in Australia and in India, or just Australia?
I would say just Australia.
Just Australia.
Yeah.
Okay, that's really cool. So, Aamir, with everything you're seeing now and how your business is growing, what should businesses be looking at to come and chat to you? What are the sort of things they need to be asking themselves? Why do I need Aamir and Enterprise Monkey?
Sure. So we are actually passionate about three things at the moment. One is accessibility. So right now, 98% of websites in Australia are not accessible, which means people with low vision, people who are blind, people who have got some disability, they cannot access the website easily. So there needs to be a change in the focus to actually make your websites accessible so that everyone is able to access the websites easily. So that's something that we are quite passionate about. We are doing accessibility audits on websites as well and helping build that. We've created a bit of design system around that as well that would be helpful for businesses. The second thing that we are passionate about is integrations and artificial intelligence. So it's about bringing your systems together rather than them sitting at separate places, bringing them together, and then using artificial intelligence and data science to actually get some amazing insights. And then third thing, which is not our core business, but something that I'm quite vocal about, is cybersecurity.
Yep.
So especially in regional Victoria with Commonwealth Games coming in 3 years, I feel that there's going to be an increased number of attacks on businesses because there's going to be a lot of global attention. And, let alone small businesses, even large businesses are not ready to deal with that cybersecurity attack. So we just need to be mindful of that and keep working on that constantly.
It's interesting, Mark. I've made comment before on our podcast about cybersecurity and small business, and And Aamir, in the judging of the Geelong Business Awards last year and the ones that I visited, when you have the discussion about cyber security, the majority of them say, "Oh, we're covered." So, well, and I would ask, "Well, why? How do you know you're covered?" "Oh, well, it's all in the cloud. It's, you know." And I said, "Well, have you tried to hack yourself?" And most of them haven't. And I'm a director of a $100 million business, and we did that exercise, and because we're going through an implementation of NetSuite, etc. Mm-hmm. And to our shock, we had lost 3 months' data that we didn't know we'd lost. Right? And now our full-time IT guru is reporting at the board meetings the number of times that people are trying to make entries into our system. And it's frightening.
Yes.
And I don't believe that business owners, private business owners, in the majority, have no idea of what's going on.
Yes. And the thing is that the hackers are so ahead of the game. And it's not just about, like, even large organizations, they are making this mistake. They think that it's one person's or one department's responsibility. However, it's the organization's responsibility. It's about training everyone in the organization around that as well, because not more about the systems that you put in place, but the policies and procedures that you put in place and the overall culture of the organization. And the challenge is that if you ask, if you are sitting with your board members and if you ask them some basic questions around cybersecurity, they won't be able to answer that. And that's very scary for the businesses. So it's about having the right systems in place, but having the right procedure and processes around that in place, and developing a culture around security
but
in your
it's
organization.
Not also, Aamir, it's not a set and forget.
Absolutely
it's a
not.
constant check, double check, check and check again.
That's right.
On a basically, set up the systems that are checking as an ongoing basis every minute of the day. I think that's what I've learned.
Absolutely, that's right. It's an ongoing process, and the fear that I have for smaller businesses is that because they are so busy generating revenue, trying to make small profits, how would they be able to afford all of this education and implementation and so on? I almost feel like there should be a government support in this instance where we are able to provide some basic level of support to the businesses.
And I guess my final question, Mark, is where is ChatGPT going? Does anyone know? And is it what everybody's predicting it will be?
Well, first of all, no one knows for sure. GPT-4 has been recently launched and it has got some absolutely amazing capabilities. It can read an image and tell exactly what's happening in an image. And if you have got an image with something suspended on a rope, and if you ask a question, what if we cut the rope, then it will tell exactly what's going to happen. And that's very scary as well. So like for some people it could be scary, but it's also very exciting in terms of how the space is evolving. And GPT is just one thing. There's one company. Google is developing its own stuff, but there are a lot of other organizations that are doing some crazy stuff around image creation, video creation, even sort of speech recognition, and so on. So I feel that there's sort of an important need for businesses and everyone to sort of like get on board, understand how it is going to change the way we work, and transform their businesses with that as well.
So Aamir, people listening to this who want to reach out to you, your web address is?
It's enterprisemonkey.com.au.
And it doesn't matter how small or big they are, you're happy to chat to anybody?
Well, we are happy to chat to anybody, but we sort of are generally working with medium to large enterprises.
Fantastic.
But we have got a lot of education material, and we are doing a lot of workshop and almost give back to small to medium businesses.
Fantastic, Aamir. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you.
And good luck in the future.
Thanks a
Yeah,
lot.
thank you, Aamir. It's great to be here and catch up with you again. And Mark, when we're celebrating our 5th year of podcasts, we will call Aamir back in and get an update.
Oh, absolutely. And look, it's good to catch up with you guys, because you guys have been have played a bit of mentorship role in my journey as well. Like I met you, Bill, around 10 years ago when I was starting up, and I met you around 4 or 5 years ago, Mark. And you guys have been phenomenal in sort of supporting and showing that love as well. And that's what I love about Geelong. So it's people like you who sort of provide support to sort of like newcomers like us. and that makes this place great.
Yeah, thank you
Thank you,
for
Aamir.
that. But
Thank
it's
you.
a two-way street because we're learning from you as well.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, guys.